Ohio Task Force 1 returning home, arriving in Vandalia within just the last hour.
The team spent more than 2 weeks in southwestern Florida helping search and recovery efforts following Hurricane Ian. Bryn Caswell just caught up with the team and is live tonight. Now, Bryn, what are they saying about this latest deployment?
Yeah, Megan, Adam, they are relieved to be home. They are currently getting unpacked behind me from the long drive. They're moving generators. They're trying to get boats redocked. So it's a really busy situation here in Vandalia right now. But I did speak to the team's leader, and he tells me coming home to a warm bed after covering a disaster like this does weigh heavy on them.
And Bryn, what do task force members say they accomplished while in Florida?
Yes, Megan, they had dozens of rescues that they executed. They did recover a body. And then towards the end of the trip, they tell me they were removing a lot of large debris in the southwestern Florida area. Now stick with us, because coming up tonight at 10 and 11, I'll have more details from their trip and why this disaster was different than once past. Back to you.
Bryn, thank you. A warning tonight from doctors as children's hospitals see an uptick in respiratory viruses. Mamie Boss spoke to experts about the alarming trend.
Flu season is ramping up,
which has started really early this season. It was started in September, and usually this is a December, November, that kind of situation. But we're starting to see some of that.
That's not the only thing that arrived early this year. A respiratory illness is causing children's hospitals to fill up.
It's called Respiratory Synciovirus,
short for RSV. Dr. David Roar with the Pediatric Associates of Dayton says last year he hardly saw any cases. Experts attribute that to COVID precautions. However, now things are different.
We're probably seeing about 2 or 3 a week right now, but we're just getting into the season.
So RSV is typically a seasonal virus that we see in pediatrics. In the past, before COVID, RSV season seemed to be in the winter, January, February. The years of COVID, we had very limited RSV because we had a lot of masking.
Currently at Dayton Children's, 7 children are hospitalized with RSV. And last week, 73 tested positive for the illness.
So the number of kids that are being kind of hit with this virus is becoming more numerous as the days go on. We've significantly increased over the last week, and we're starting to see clinically every day more kids.
Experts say babies are most at risk. They ask parents to be vigilant.
Notice rapid breathing in your child, or coughing, or not eating as much, or a little more lethargic. Get in and see your doctor.
And that was Mamie Baugh reporting. Now, while respiratory and flu illnesses are on the rise this season, COVID is now on the decline. Here's a live look at the CDC's COVID tracker tonight. You can see the amount of COVID cases continues to drop across the U.S., now averaging just over 40,000 cases per day. That's a 25% decrease compared to the average from just 2 weeks ago. The number of people hospitalized with COVID is also down 9% compared to 14 days ago. According to the CDC, just under 80% of the population has received at least one dose of the vaccine.
All right, let's talk weather now. It got up into the low 70s today. Nick Dunn is in tonight for Natalie. So is that trend going to continue now?
For at least one more day.
Okay.
That'll be really nice. We can get one more nice day out of it with temperatures in the 70s once again. And taking a look outside this evening from our Kettering Health Sky Cam, as Adam said, we got into the low 70s, and that's where we are right now at 71 degrees with lots of sunshine. Just a few clouds out there from time to time, and a dew point at 37. That means that it's a very crisp feel to the air out there this evening. Temperatures across the region, we're in the upper 60s to mid 70s, so pretty decent out there for you this evening. If you have any plans to maybe go outside, walk the dog, or maybe go to dinner, no problems whatsoever. I wouldn't even take a jacket if you're heading out in the next couple of hours. Now, looking at how low temperatures stack up tonight across the region, mid 40s to upper 40s for a lot of us. Some of our traditional cooler spots may find their way into the upper 30s for a short time, but in general, low to mid 40s for a lot of us. And again, a few pockets even in the upper 40s as well. And I'll have the more details coming up in my full forecast.
Nick, thanks. The Biden administration says it's working with North Korea's neighbors to improve military readiness in the region. Now, this is coming as North Korea launched 2 more missiles yesterday. That makes it the 7th round of weapons tests in just 2 weeks. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says the U.S. has improved its intelligence capability around the peninsula. He says drills with Japanese and South Korean militaries also show closer cooperation between the 3 countries.
We're going to make sure that we have the capabilities in place to defend our national security interests if it comes to that. But there's no reason for it to come to that. That's the point, Martha. We could sit down, again, without preconditions with Kim Jong-un and try to find a diplomatic path forward. That's what we're committed to.
Authorities in Japan say the latest missiles might have been submarine-launched ballistic missiles. If verified, that would be an alarming development because launchers from the sea are much harder to detect in advance. At least 10 people are dead, 60 injured in Ukraine after Russian missile strikes this morning. Ukrainian officials say as many as 75 missiles were fired at targets in those 10 Ukrainian cities you see highlighted there. Russia's President Vladimir Putin says the missile strikes were retaliation for what he called Ukraine's terrorist actions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia is trying to annihilate his country.
And the south of the country, they're trying to spread chaos and panic. They want to annihilate our energy supplies. They're hopeless. Their second target is our people. They specifically selected this time in order to hit us the hardest. But we are Ukrainians. We help each other. We believe in ourselves. We rebuild everything ruined.
In a tweet, Zelensky announced an agreement with Germany's chancellor to hold an urgent meeting of the G7. He says he's scheduled to give a speech to nation leaders to discuss today's attacks. He hopes to increase the pressure on Russia for its ongoing attacks. Well, the midterm elections here in the U.S. are quickly approaching, but some worry the results could have international consequences as well. So Megan's at the Now Desk. What's the worry?
Yeah, Adam, we're specifically talking about Ukraine and the fear that following the upcoming midterm congressional elections that aid will slow down or even stop. So far, the Biden administration has sent Ukraine more than $17 billion in assistance and vows to do so for as long as it takes. But some Republicans say they are against assigning blank checks without much oversight and say the U.S. needs to focus on domestic issues. A handful of lawmakers have been pushing back for a while now since Americans have been struggling under high inflation. A Morning Consult poll back in August showed U.S. concern about the Russia-Ukraine war is declining among Republicans.
Another violent weekend across central Ohio has city leaders weighing in on an issue impacting countless families. One incident happening near a football game, another involving a 10-year-old being shot. Miles Harris went straight to Columbus City Schools head of security to see how they plan to keep kids safe.
As gun violence continues to impact teens throughout central Ohio, local school districts like Columbus City Schools are sharing with us how they're addressing those needs when it comes to safety and security. Safety and Security Director Chris Baker tells us that they're doing everything that they can to better enhance safety. And that's not just within their doors, but even at school events. So whether that's a school building or a football game. And some of those best practices includes the uses of wands and metal detectors to reduce any possible threat. And beyond that, Baker assures us that their district has a good standing relationship with Columbus Police, and the hope is that those efforts keep not just the schools and students safe, but also the community. I'm Miles Harris for Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Former Ohio Governor Robert Taft is joining a national commission studying the history of the war in Afghanistan. Today, Congressman Mike Turner appointed Taft to the Afghanistan War Commission. The former governor of Ohio will be one of 16 people on it. The nonpartisan commission's purpose is to produce a study of what happened over the 20 years war to protect the U.S. national security interests.
He will bring an unbelievable wealth of knowledge and an ability to work with his fellow commissioners to come up with a product that can guide Congress, can guide future administrations as to what did we do wrong and how do we fix those problems in the future.
The commission will have 3 years to produce its report to Congress.
And Governor Mike DeWine stopping in the Miami Valley today. The governor toured the Esther Price Candies Company. His visit was in honor of Manufacturers Day, which happened last Friday. The governor also visited the Greene County Career Center, where students learn a variety of trades. He says places like this help young people in Ohio to be excited about their futures.
Ohio is really on the move. We started today at the Career Center in Greene County. They're training young kids to work in manufacturing. They're training them to work in culinary arts. And to me, the most exciting thing about that is to talk to these young people and see that they're excited.
Governor DeWine says his goal is to have every child be passionate about something by the time they graduate high school.
The midterm election just a few weeks away, and Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose hopes his new Public Integrity Division will make it easier to investigate any possible issues at the ballot box. He says this is all part of a broader effort to combat a crisis of confidence that has become an issue with national elections. They'll also investigate voter fraud and voter suppression. Secretary LaRose says these crimes are rare in Ohio, but he wants to keep it that way.
This is my duty, probably my most sacred responsibility as Ohio Secretary of State, to make sure that Ohioans can go into their voting location or participate in early or absentee voting confidently knowing that their vote is going to be honestly counted, accurately reported, that the voice of Ohioans are heard when we have an election.
This unit of investigators launches today, just ahead of the voter registration deadline, which is tomorrow. Early voting starts on Wednesday. And we'll continue to keep you up to the date with all things election related. You can find all of our coverage in one place at Dayton247now.com. Just click Beyond the Podium under the News tab.
The murder trial in the case of 4 people killed in a Westchester apartment continuing today. A look inside the courtroom at a first responder's emotional testimony.
Also, an Ohio social service agency no longer taking walk-in appointments after workers are getting threats. Why other organizations are criticizing that move.
And I'm tracking some much-needed rain set to move in across the Miami Valley this week. I'll let you know when that arrives coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
A former police officer cries on the stand as he recalls the horror of April 28, 2019. That was when he entered a Westchester apartment where 4 people had been shot in the head. David Winter is at the death penalty murder trial of Gurpreet Singh and has more of today's emotional testimony.
The jury today seeing lots of tears, first from the defendant on body cam video the night of the murders, and then from a former cop on the stand who recalled for the jury when he first arrived at the scene to find Gurpreet Singh's wife, her parents, and her aunt all shot in the head several times. Former officer Adam Gesowich was overcome by emotion when he tried to recall for the jury what he witnessed. And then more tears, this time from the defendant, when body cam video from another officer was played for the jury.
Everybody, mom, dad, everybody inside is deceased. What is that? Dead. That's why it's very, very important for you to hold together and help me out so we can figure out what happened tonight, okay, Gary? Need you to be strong for me, Gary.
The defense continues to attempt to sow doubt with the jury, asking the police witnesses about a potential tie with the Sikh mob, implying that this was a professional hit and not at the hands of Gurpreet Singh. In Hamilton, this is David Winter reporting. Now back to you.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Chime In was filled this weekend with awesome shots of the hunter's moon. The gorgeous orange hue is the result of a full moon close to the horizon. More light passes through more atmosphere then, and that's what gives the moon the color. This year, the harvest moon occurred on September 10th, closest to the equinox, making this the hunter's moon by default.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
And I'm forecaster Nick Dunn tonight for Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters. We've had a really nice day, lots of sunshine, hardly a cloud in the sky, and it's not just being contained around our area, but really across the entire Great Lakes. Lots of clear skies and sunshine, making for a really nice start to the work week for you. Now, we are going to be tracking some rain. A warm front's going to continue to lift north through tonight into tomorrow, and that'll bring at least a little bit of an increase in cloud cover. And then some rain showers are going to move our way late Tuesday, and then a cold front will come through on Wednesday, and this will really start to bring some showers and even a few thunderstorms. And it's also going to knock down our temperatures as well. And coming up in my full forecast here in just a little bit, I'm going to tell you when the rain moves out, how much you're going to see, and how cool the temperatures get behind this cold front.
Nick, thanks. Federal prosecutors seeking a prison sentence for the man who assaulted police officers and a journalist during a January 6th Capitol riot. They want a sentence of 4 years for Alan Byerly. Byerly has pleaded guilty to assaulting an Associated Press photographer and using a stun gun against police during that riot. A judge is scheduled to sentence him later this month. Well, the pressure on former President Trump intensifying tonight. Megan is at the Now Desk, so what is this in regards to?
Yeah, Adam, the House committee looking into the Capitol riot is set to hold what is likely going to be one of its last hearings on Thursday. And this week, the Supreme Court could weigh in on the classified documents seized from Trump's Florida home. Now, former President Trump was out rallying supporters this past week, and his questions over his activities heat up. He talked about the Justice Department investigation into the alleged mishandling of White House documents, a dispute that's now reached the Supreme Court. It gave the DOJ until Tuesday to weigh in on whether a special master should have access to the classified documents involved.
3 people are accused of stealing mail out of Kettering this weekend. 21-year-olds Cameron Harnish and Terrell Rose, alongside a 15-year-old boy, were arrested for receiving stolen property. Now, Kettering police say an officer made a traffic stop near the post office and later found pieces of mail, cash, and checks, along with marijuana and paraphernalia inside the vehicle. Now, the 15-year-old boy was taken to the Montgomery County Juvenile Detention Center. Both Harnish and Rose are not shown in custody right now, according to jail records. We're also learning new details tonight surrounding Sunday afternoon's large fire at the Cohen Recycling in West Carrollton. If you were in the Dayton area yesterday afternoon, you likely saw that smoke filling the sky from it. 15 departments worked to get that fire under control. Right now, crews are still there putting out hot spots at the Farmersville West Carrollton Road facility. No one was hurt out of this. The cause is under investigation. The EPA has also been called in to investigate any possible environmental impacts that fire might have had.
The pressures on social service agencies are reaching new levels tonight following threats and intimidation. One Columbus-based organization is defending new plans to serve customers, finding it tough to make ends meet. Tonight, the NAACP is calling out the agency's leaders for negatively affecting the very population that needs help. Luann Stoya reports.
As we head into a season where we need to turn up the heat, the NAACP is turning up the heat on a social service agency. Impact Community Action is now moving to an appointment-only system after some threats were made to its workers.
There was a gentleman who was overheard saying that when he comes back at 1 o'clock, he expected to be served and that he was no longer going to ask questions. He was going to start shooting.
The NAACP says they're concerned with no walk-in appointments available, so people might not have the access and ability to sign up for services. Leaders are hoping the agency could actually expand times on nights and weekends.
We just need to be more considerate of those individuals that are in dire need of the services that Impact offers.
Impact tells us by making appointments only, they can serve 50 more people each day and be more respectful of their time. In Columbus, I'm Luann Stoya reporting.
A story from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal now. A popular downtown Dayton restaurant is moving to what is viewed as the real hub of downtown. Table 33 is going to move to the arcade in the spring. The farm-to-table restaurant is going to occupy about 5,000 square feet with 2 outdoor patios. The owner, Charlie Carroll, has a new concept set for the current space Table 33 occupies. That space will provide fast casual dining to people attending events at the Schuster Center. And we have more information about this change right now at Dayton247now.com. You can find that story as others like it under the Dayton Business Journal heading in the News tab.
All right, a live look over downtown Dayton from our Kettering Health Sky Cam right now. Nick and I are out on our exclusive Watson's weather patio. It's a really mild night. I expected it to be much cooler than it actually is out here.
Yeah, we're actually a little bit above average for this time of the year, so that feels really nice too, especially for a Monday.
But the rest of the week may be a different story, it sounds like.
Tracking at least a little bit of rain. We'll talk about that in just a second as well. And as we take a look this evening, we're going to be seeing temperatures falling in through the 60s, and we'll see those temperatures also fall into the 50s late tonight and then into the upper 40s tomorrow morning. And in terms of how the next several days are looking temperature-wise for you, we are going to be tracking temperatures in the mid-70s for the next couple of days, and we'll see temperatures fall back into the 50s after that with the cold front coming through. And that means we have some showers and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms as well. We could see a couple gusty storms if they do materialize later on Wednesday, and I'll have the full details on when those arrive for you coming up in just a little bit.
Nick, thanks. Halloween just 3 weeks away. We'll give you an inside look at one of the scary attractions this season. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
It's official Halloween season with haunted houses and scary movies are on everyone's mind. Good Day Dayton's Tej Joshi gives us an inside look at Land of Illusion's haunted Scream Park. But if you scare easily or are sensitive to light, you might want to look away.
The Land of Illusion Haunted Scream Park is a great place to get scared this Halloween season. They've got 6 different main attractions here, and we got to tour some of them. I mean, look at Dr. Psycho's. We walked in this place, very creepy, very scary. Went to the Temple of Terror with some Egyptian themes to it, body parts everywhere, mummies. This place also very scared. Personally, I was a little terrified walking through. And the place that I had the most fun, most scared fun walking through was the Killer Clowns. And they had a bunch of killer clowns here. You walk through here, you see black lights, you see clowns jumping at you. This place was terrifying, and I experienced that firsthand. I thought I was victorious walking through their tunnels, but nope, the clowns got me at every turn. So if you want to enjoy a place like this with your friends, your family, come to Land of Illusion, their haunted Scream Park. They are open from now until that very last weekend, right before Halloween. Back to you all in the studio.
All right, Tej, thanks. And with Halloween just around the corner, we're sure the kids are getting ready. Get those buckets out for candy. We have a full list of all the trick-or-treat days and times on our website. You can go to Dayton247now.com, click the banner. It's right there at the top of the homepage.
I'm forecaster Nick Dell. We had a really nice Monday across the region, and tomorrow we're going to be repeating that same weather pattern as we're going to be seeing temperatures getting into the 70s once again, and we'll be seeing those highs in the 70s, not just here across our Dayton vicinity, but also across our northern counties as well. We'll see highs in the low to mid 70s everywhere tomorrow across the area, working a little closer to I-70, about the same as well. As we get a little further to the south, you're going to see temperatures, if we can get enough sunshine, maybe Middletown and Oxford, our traditional warm spots, making a run at the upper 70s for tomorrow. So again, we got one really nice day tomorrow. Cold front is going to come through and bring some rain and even a few rumbles of thunder and breezy conditions on Wednesday. Some cooler temperatures later in the week into the weekend, and next week, guys, looking potentially much cooler than the end of this week. So something we'll have to kind of track and see.
I was about to say, it looks like we're going to be ending those warm temperatures pretty quick here.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, no question. All right, Nick, thanks. And thank you for joining us tonight. Remember, you can always connect with us on social media. We are headed over to Fox 45 next. We hope you join us there. In the meantime, have a good night.